Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation with me, your host, Jerri Banks. Now, I want you to imagine you're a driver and you're about to start a long haul lane across the country. You're about to deliver some goods and freight across the country. Now you've gone through your checklist. You got your pre-trip checklist, and you've gone through it several times. But today you're in a hurry, right? You know this checklist backwards and forward. But today you're in a hurry, and so you skip a few steps because you got the dispatcher calling you. They want to know where you're at. You got this going on, you got that going on. They're calling you, so you skip a few steps, and you're sure that everything is fine. And now I want you to imagine that one small mistake that you missed, that one thing that you overlooked because it leads eventually to a minor mechanical issues down the line. It's not a major failure, but it causes a few hours delay. It causes frustration for your clients, and they're waiting on their delivery. So they're upset. They're calling the dispatcher. They're calling your fleet manager's calling you. There's so many things going on. And I want you to think about this important fact because in our industry, in the transportation industry, especially as we see more and more technology and automation and autonomy and things like AI, the smallest detail can have the biggest impact. And so I want you to stick around in the show to the last segment, which is my favorite, the learning lane, because I'm going to talk about why and how you can build your skills for paying more attention to detail. Throughout my career, paying attention to detail has been critical. And in your career, even more now than ever, paying attention to detail and getting all the way to that minute, smallest detail. Because if you miss it, it can be a major issue. It could be a major deal. So I want you to stick around to the learning lane, and I want to I'll talk about some skills and some things that you can do to make sure that your attention to detail is always top notch. I'll share some things that I've done over the years that have helped me to make sure that I never miss like that small detail. And so if you're new here, welcome. I want you to stop right now and just take a few moments to subscribe to the channel, to make sure that you are connected to me across all of my social media platforms. I am Jerri Banks, and actually, my channel is scrolling right there. All of the platforms are right here as well. So make sure you are connected to me across all of my platforms, because on this show and across our platforms, I talk about automation and autonomy and new technology entering not just the trucking industry. As you know, my career spans across trucking, but the majority of my career, the bulk of my career spans across aviation, where attention to detail is so crucial. We talk about traditional truck driving jobs, and we also talk about jobs in the autonomous sector, where you can take your current skills and combine them with new skills that you learn that help you be a game changer for someone's company. And then lastly, I already talked about it. On the learning lane, I share actionable tips that you can use right now to help you upskill and reskill for the new future that our industry is moving into. And so today, on today's show, I have a very action packed, full of information and news and learning opportunities for you. We're going to talk about the new Volvo VNL, the autonomous new Volvo VNL, and their partnership and how they're proving the way forward. Also, I'm going to share some information about Waymo and how they are expanding their ride hailing service in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And I'll share a video because I was recently in Phoenix a couple months ago, and I got to ride in a self-driving robo taxi. It's a great experience. So I'll share my video of that. And I have a traditional truck driving job that I'm going to share with you. It's a dedicated grocery store account. The girls are on the line, and they will be, if you're, it sounds like something you're interested in, they will be standing by to help you out. And then the learning lane, we're going to talk about attention to detail. So when I come back, I have a autonomous Volvo VNL video that I want to share, and an article that I want to talk about. So again, thank you for being here. Make sure that you do me a favor and take 2 minutes to just subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you share this information, share this video, share the link with your peers, with your friends, with your colleagues. Everyone needs to know about the information that we're sharing. We'll be right back. I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. We focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms. Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you. Welcome back. Welcome back. I would be remiss if I did not say hello to all of my friends over on TikTok. Hello, Marvin. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Dr. Hyde, Terrell. Thank you guys so much for being over there and checking us out. Again, make sure that you are tapped in across all of my social media platforms. And if you have not downloaded the free ebook, the ebook is on the website, LOTR Recruiting. I'll pop we'll have the ebook popped up here in just a second. That ebook, it talks about the future of trucking. It talks about the key autonomous companies that are out there that you need to know about right now, so that you can look at opportunities that they have, so that you can know what lanes they're opening up from an autonomy perspective, what terminals they're opening up that maybe you can work at to be a local terminal operator. There's so many opportunities out there. The industry's changing, the industry's growing. And as I've said many, many times, this is not my grandpa's trucking industry. This is not my dad's transportation industry. My grandpa was in trucking. My dad was in aviation. So many things are changing, and we have to be prepared, and we have to change with the times. So if you have not downloaded the Prepare You for Autonomous Trucks, make sure you download that on the website. All right, moving right along, let me pull up the Volvo VNL Autonomous article, Proving the Way Forward. Now, this article was really interesting. They actually released the Volvo VNL a few months ago. I'm going to share a video to show you the plant where they're making it as well. This video, their plant is in Dublin, Virginia, I believe, but it'll show it here on the video. But so this article, it's the Volvo. It's this truck. It is phenomenal. I know those of you on TikTok cannot see it, but I do have it on one of my posts there on TikTok. But it's the first ever autonomous truck designed and built specifically for self-driving operation. So this truck is the way forward. It was released. They released it and showed it at the ACT Expo in Las Vegas. That just happened a couple of weeks ago. But this is the future. This truck is the future. And so what is Volvo doing? Basically, it's combining their commercial vehicle expertise, and they're partnering with Aurora. Aurora is a company, it's a self-driving technology company. We've talked about them on the show here many times in the past, but they have what they call the Aurora driver. The Aurora driver is going to be combined and placed in Volvo's commercial vehicle. And that partnership is a major step towards widespread adoption and widespread integration of autonomous trucks. Volvo isn't just, just a small, small OEM. They are one of the top um, trucking manufacturers that are out there. And so it's important that you know exactly what's going on in your industry. So that's why I share this type of information, because it is the future. Now, with the Volvo VNL autonomous, it has numerous backup systems for steering. It's got backups for braking, for communication, and a lot of other critical functions that you need. And it also ensures that the truck can handle emergencies and operate reliably. Now, that the key component to all of this, it's not just a regular truck. The Aurora driver is the key component. And it has AI software, it has dual computers, it has high range LiDAR for object detection. LiDAR is light detection. And they use sensors just to ensure that the truck is moving safely across the roadways, and it's able to operate on highways, on rural roads, day, night, bad weather. It will be able to operate. And so it's going to free up human drivers. And I talk about this a lot on the show. It's going to free up, and this is typically the word that most articles, most anything uses when I'm researching and learning and talking about autonomous vehicles. It calls you, the driver, a human driver, because they have to distinguish between the human driver and the self-driving truck. And so this vehicle, this Volvo VNL, look at that. It's almost like a moon a moon truck, but it's sleek. It's very different from what we're accustomed to from a truck perspective. But it's going to free up that human driver, you, for the routes that are more difficult to automate, routes that require that human touch. And so that's why I always talk to you from the standpoint of making sure that your skills and your certifications and your endorsements are always up to date, that you're getting those skills right now. Because as we see more autonomy entering the roadways, and when I say as we see, it's not a matter of if it's going to come or when it's going to come. They're already on the roads right now. We've already got lanes between Dallas and Houston, and Dallas and Oklahoma City, and El Paso, and the Central Texas area, San Antonio and Austin, Dallas and Atlanta. We're seeing so many lanes in the South start to open up, but it's because the South has the weather is not, well, I mean, I'm in Houston, Texas, and for the last 3 weeks, I've probably lost power 5 or 6 times because of a thunderstorm or a tornado or high wind activity. Last week, we had 85-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, so I don't know how Texas is that much weather friendly, but these trucks are starting to operate on the roadways more and more. And so I talked to you about making sure your credentials are up to date, making sure your skills are up to date, because you're going to, if they begin to incorporate more and more autonomous trucks on the roadways, right now they have a safety operator in them. Um, their goal is by the end of the year, a lot of these autonomous companies, their goal is by the end of the year to start transitioning the safety driver, you, out of the truck and into other areas. Now, is that going to be like a widespread, happen overnight type thing? Absolutely not. It will be a gradual implementation, a gradual incorporation, which is why every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you see me right here talking to you about the implementation, talking to you about the skills that you need in order to stay relevant. Because if you're not doing what you need to do to stay relevant in this industry, you will get left behind. And that's my job, is to ensure that you don't get left behind, to ensure that you have those skills, to ensure that you are learning and you're knowledgeable about the companies and the skills you need and who's the key players. Hello, Mac, the mother trucker. Thanks so much for hopping on TikTok. I appreciate you for always being there. Um, but this information is so imperative. You have to know. And so right now I'm showing the Volvo VNL, the new Volvo VNL, and talking about its partnership that they have with Aurora. Aurora Innovation. They are an autonomous self-driving technology company, and their software is in the new VNL autonomous truck. It's in the new Volvo VNL, and they're going to be manufacturing this truck at Volvo's largest production plant. It's in Dublin, Virginia, and I'm going to show you a video to let you see that. But if you're a driver, my advice to you is to make sure that you are skilled in hazmat, that you are skilled in flatbed, that you are skilled in oversized, overdimensional. You have every endorsement that there is out there. You have your TWIC card. You can get in the airports. All of those things are going to be important, because there are going to be instances where you're going to need to pivot. You're going to need to pivot from that general freight. You're going to need to pivot from that reefer freight, especially if you live in the South. Especially if you live in the South, because we're going to see more and more lanes start there and then work their way up. But in those extreme weather condition locations, in those mountainous regions, in the regions that are really, really difficult to get trucks in, we're not going to see autonomous vehicles. We're not going to see them at all. But that's where human drivers, that's what you're called, that's where human drivers are going to take the reins more. And so, like I said, make sure your endorsements are up to date. I have so many drivers that tell me, oh, I let my hazmat expire because I didn't want to pay that, whatever it is, for the fingerprints and 100, I think it's like $100, $200. I didn't want to pay that and keep paying that. No, you better pay it. Pay it right now, because you need all of those skills in your back pocket to make sure that you stay relevant. We've seen over the course of time, from my granddaddy, my great granddaddy, my granddaddy, and my daddy, they've seen so many different iterations and changes in manufacturing, in production, in so many different things, and they've had to evolve. And guess what? This is what I'm telling my 5 boys. You got to evolve, because this is not, and they're all of my boys are either in aviation or transportation, warehouse and logistics. And I'm telling them every day, hey, look, you better evolve. You better go listen to my show. If you don't evolve, you're going to get left behind, and you're not going to be able to take care of my grandbabies. And so that's so important. Mac, the mother trucker, says, yes, I have reinvented myself twice in 20 plus years. A driver with over 20 years of experience has said that he has had to reinvent himself twice in over 20 plus years. What does that look like? You tell me, Mac, the mother trucker, what that looks like, but I'm going to tell you what I think that looks like. Reinventing yourself means, okay, I'm doing general freight. Man, now I need to go learn hazmat. Now I need to go learn how to strap the tarp on and run flatbed loads. You have to reinvent yourself to make yourself valuable, because there are new automations. Walmart now has, and my son, who works at a distribution center here in Houston, they have autonomous forklifts, and they just stand beside them and, make sure that things are right. But at some point, that's going to transition. So what skills do you have right now that's setting you apart from the person that can just, operate the forklift? What skills do you have right now? And so I always talk about those skills like communication, those soft skills, those key soft skills. And I'm going to talk about another skill today in the learning lesson, in the learning lane at the end of the show, of a skill that you're going to need. And it's paying attention to detail. You have to have that skill. And so all of these skills are going to be key. And I don't want you to just say, I'm a good communicator. When you're in interviews, because drivers, guess what? I know right now when you go try to get a job or when you apply for a job, as long as you check the MVR box and you check the PSP box and your DAC report good, you can get a job. In tomorrow's future, you're going to be doing interviews. In tomorrow's future, to get the good jobs, you're going to have to talk to somebody. You have to do a second interview, a third interview. You might have to go in. You might have to put your good suit on, your good attire on, and go in and sit down with someone. And that's where those communication skills are going to come into play. That's where being able to give examples of where you have put, those skills, where you have put your attention to detail, where you have put, being able to work in a team setting, where you have put being able to collaborate with your colleagues. You're going to have to give examples of those, right? And if you can't do that, then guess what? That's going to be the difference in your check being up here versus your check being down here. So when I tell you those crucial skills that are going to be so important, communication and all of that, and one of the things that I was talking to one of my colleagues recently about, and it is something that, people, it's controversy. It's very controversial, but I call it code switching because there are instances where you have to code switch. What is code switch? Code switch is, and I do it all the time, who I am at my house, lay back and just relax and chill, and the language that I use, the way I communicate, the way I talk to my husband and my kids and everybody. That's not how I am in the business. That's not how I am and how I talk when I'm in a business, in a professional setting, right? You have to learn how to make those adjustments. And I'm being very, very real right now because I was in a situation a couple of months ago where I was in a class. And, it was a professional setting. It was a professional class, a leadership class. And there were people in that class that didn't know how to turn off, who they were at home. I need you to know how to turn that person off and put your best professional self forward because you are being judged the minute that someone sees you. And then that's the first time you're being judged. The second time you're being judged is the minute you open your mouth, right? And that's why it's so crucial that you know how to communicate in these settings. That's why it's crucial that you know how to carry yourself and present yourself. Because again, everything that I'm describing, everything that I'm naming is going to be the difference of you being able to take care of your family because your check is up here, or you having to borrow money from your other family members because your check is down here. Right? So it's so important. These things that I'm talking about are so, so very important. Mac is on it here on TikTok. He says he had to reinvent himself twice in the last 20 years. The first time he said he used general freight, he went to refrigeration, the auto parts, the masters in transportation. Let me, because for those of y'all in the back that didn't hear it, he said he went from general freight and refrigeration, the auto parts, with a master's in transportation and logistics. That's reinventing yourself. That's setting yourself apart from everybody else. He says she's exactly right. Just being able to communicate and talk. I know so many people that don't know how to communicate. And if you're talking to Miss Jerri, I'm going to be saying, hey, look, let's back up. Let's step out the room. Let's talk a little bit because I need you to hold your head up. I need you to look people in the eye. I need you to, be able to communicate and verbally deliver what it is that you're trying to say, because communication will take you so far. And my boys, um, I stay on them about communication, shaking people's hand, looking them in the eye. My husband does the same thing. And so that's so important. Being able to communicate is going to take you so far. Being able to express your thoughts is going to take you so far, because listen, if we got AI and computers and technology and automation and autonomy doing all of these things, why they need you if you can't communicate? Why do they need you if you don't have the social skills? That's important. Those social skills are so important. And so social media has decreased a whole generation's social skills, because living in social media and living outside of social media and connecting with people outside of social media is two different worlds, right? So if you don't do anything today, go to YouTube University. You're right here. If you're watching this show, go to YouTube University and look up social skills, communication skills. Look up, how to better get my point across, how to better say what it is that I need to say, how to express myself. Those are things that are going to be the difference in your paycheck. Because that's all I talk about. That's what's important, okay? Because if your paycheck is not where it needs to be, you're not gonna be able to take care of your family. He says she's exactly right. Just being able to communicate and talk. I call it light switch. You have to be that fast light switch. You have to be that fast light switch. Absolutely. First appearance, yes, you're being judged. He agrees with me, Mac, the mother trucker, that you are being judged every time you come into contact with a new person. Every time you come into contact with anyone, the first judgment is going to be your appearance, how you look, how you carry yourself, your body language, your posture. All of those things, that's the first thing that they are judging you on. The second thing is opening your mouth. When you open your mouth, that is going to be the second time that you are being judged. What comes out of your mouth? Are you thinking before you speak? Is it intelligent? Is it understandable? Is it clear? All of those are things that are you're being judged on. And perception is reality. It might be what people think. And I um I personally, and I'm a black female, right? And I know there are a lot of people that, don't live and play and hang in the areas that I live in. And so there are so many preconceptions of me, a black female. A lot of people already feel like they know me when they don't, because they've seen others. But you don't know me. You haven't worked with me. And so you have to make sure that your appearance, your body language, your posture, all of those things set you apart. And then when you open your mouth, you have to make sure that what you're saying is clear. It's positive. It's effective. You're getting your point across. And so on those interviews that you're going to be going on to get that good job, make sure that you are prepared. Make sure that you know about the company, that you can communicate and you can talk about different things. That's going to be what Mac, the mother trucker, just said. He said that's going to be what I'm describing is going to be the $30,000 difference in your paycheck. The $30,000 difference in your paycheck. So it's going to be the difference in you making 25, 30,000 or you making 60,000. He just dropped a gem right there. Thank you so much for liking the live, love. Thank you. I appreciate that. But this, what I'm talking about, it might not be or seem like a big deal to you now, but it's so crucial. It's so important. And again, as we see more and more autonomy and automation and all of these things come into play, those skills that I've just been describing and talking about, that's going to be that $30,000 difference that Mac, the mother trucker, is talking about. So I want to go back to the Volvo VNL autonomous truck and just kind of talk about a few things. One in particular is the manufacturing. They're manufacturing the Volvo VNL, the autonomous Volvo VNL is going to be manufactured at Volvo's largest production plant, ensuring that they can meet the industry demand. But I want to show you a short video of the Volvo VNL autonomous manufacturing plant. It's in Dublin, Virginia, and I want you to look at this. Look at this video, right? And what I want you to think about and to see as I share this video, it's on YouTube. I want you to tell me in the comments, you can drop it in the comments, what you see at this manufacturing plant. What are you seeing at this manufacturing plant that's different? And for those of you on TikTok, I want you to see it too. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see that as well. Give me 1 second. All right, now you can see my screen. So this is the Volvo VNL manufacturing plant overview.
Welcome to the home of the VNL. This plant was built about 2 years ago with the sole purpose of building our new truck here. It's about 400,000 square feet. It's filled with all kinds of automation and new technology. We drastically put a lot of investment in how we build this truck. It's completely different. We have sub-assemblies that come to the main line. This will increase quality, better ergonomics, and better safety for our employees.
We are bringing here 164 new robots so we can build this cab to the most efficient way that we can. Compared to what we had in the past, we can almost double the capacity that we had before. And overall, all those new technologies, this high level of automation that we are introducing here, will set up a high standards of quality throughout the entire process.
I'm super proud to be part of this new plant. This plant was designed for our customers. It was designed for this community, and it was designed to change everything.
Right. So let me get TikTok back on me. All right. So tell me, and I know that, there we go. Let me get that off of there. So I know that, Mac Mother Trucker, I know you're watching. I know you got to see the video. For those of you on the YouTube platform that got to see the video, tell me one of the things that really stood out to you. Drop it in the comments. What is one thing that really stood out to you in that plant? And then I'll share mine as well, what really kind of stood out to me in the plant. But it is imperative that, we are knowledgeable, that we know exactly what's going on in our industry, where things are changing. All of those things are very, very important. And so as a person in the transportation industry, as a trucker, as someone in aviation, you need to know what's going on. You need to know what you need to be taking from a certification perspective, getting new certifications, building up your skills. All of those things are going to be so crucial. And let's see here. So what stood out to me? What stood out to me in watching the video? And if you're just joining, I just shared a video for the new plant. It's a new plant in Dublin, Virginia. It's the Volvo VNL. That's where they're going to build the Volvo VNL. And so she mentioned that there were 164 new robots. 164 new robots. They're going to be able to double the capacity of those trucks being released on the road and released out of production from the manufacturing plant to the sales department, where they can be sold and released in fleets version with companies and trucking companies via fleets, and also with owner operators that may want to buy one of these Volvo VNLs, because with Aurora's system, it's not just for fleets and major trucking companies. Small companies will be able to buy this truck and this software. I don't know the cost now. I don't know the cost, but it's made available for everyone. And then they talked about at that plant in Dublin, Virginia, how they increased their automation. Mac the mother trucker said the exact same thing. It's automated. It's automated. So there are skills that you need to, your computer programming skills, AI skills, software skills, anything computer related, anything AI related. Those are the types of skills that are going to be needed from the standpoint of some of these plants, the standpoint of some of this technology, and 164 new robots is what they added to that plant. 164 new robots. So automation is here. You just saw a whole plant with full of robots. Automation is here. It's not, it might come, or, they're thinking about it. Automation is here. And so I want you to think about what you're doing, as Mac the mother trucker here on TikTok said, what you're doing to reinvent yourself. Reinvention is not a nice to have. Reinventing yourself is necessary right now. So I don't want you to come to me in 2 years and say, man, I was listening to this lady on YouTube and on TikTok, and she was talking about, skills I need to go start working on and start reinventing myself. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to be the person that says, I was listening to that lady and she told me to go start working on these skills and go look into, ways to improve myself and reinvent myself. And I did that. And now me and my family are doing very well, right? Because maybe computers isn't your thing. Like, I know all of my boys, computers and, AI and all, that's not their jam. But what is their jam is learning how to work on these machines. Someone will have to repair them. Someone will have to know how to make those adjustments. Somebody will have to do the roadside repairs, and that is where we're pushing them towards. So I want you to think about what it is that you can do. Think outside the box. Don't stay in that proverbial box that you're sometimes put in. Because that box, you're more than a driver. You're more than a driver. And so if we see driving, not that it's going to go away for all drivers, but some drivers are going to be working at terminals. Some drivers are going to be working at the hub operations, shuttling the trailers, fueling, doing the pre-trip and the post-trip and all of those things. But you better be a good communicator if you're a terminal worker. Better have those social skills and those soft skills to be able to work in a team environment, in a team setting. Those are going to be so crucial and so important. Now, when we come back, I'm going to talk about a truck driving job. And this job, it is a traditional job. You're going to hear me talk traditional truck driving jobs on this show, and you're going to hear me talk autonomous jobs and skills that you need for those autonomous jobs. When we come back, I'll talk about a traditional job at a grocery store.
When it comes to autonomous trucks entering the trucking and transportation industry, up until now, you've only heard bits and pieces, news here, news there. There's been no centralized place for you to learn about autonomous trucks. Join me every Wednesday and Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time as I share information, news, and education on how you can stay prepared for autonomous trucks and autonomy entering the trucking and transportation industry.
Mac, the mother trucker on TikTok, he says, I told my children to go into automation, and they are both at GM right now. That we see and we know, and some of our kids, they may be, not paying attention to what's going on in the world, but as their parents, as their guides, as their leaders. My oldest son is 28 and my youngest is 14. And even at 28, I am still his guide. His father is still his guide. We are still offering advice, giving direction, and sharing things that we see changing so that they can make those adjustments. Because they have to have someone that they can go to and listen to and guide. So, thank you and congratulations, Mac the Mother Church, for guiding your kids. And he said they making $39 an hour. By the way, they're making $39 an hour in automation at GM. Those are the opportunities that you need to be seeking out more and more. Some of these monotonous jobs, these repetitive jobs, they're all being replaced with automation. You just saw a plant where I probably saw two people working inside that plant, and the other people or things doing the work were robots. 164 new robots that they added, to be exact. So you have to ensure that you are preparing yourself and equipping yourself with the tools that's going to be needed for a new future. So the traditional truck driving job, it's a dedicated position at a grocery store. And this dedicated grocery store is Kroger out in the Ohio and Indiana area. So it's a Woodlawn, Ohio, Blue Ash, Ohio, and Shelbyville, Indiana, within a 50-mile radius. I'm hiring. The girls are standing by. You can the phone number is here up at the top, here at the bottom. If you are interested in this position, I want you to text grocery to 832-572-5277. You need at least 3 months of verifiable tractor trailer experience. You do get paid for training because it's a 2-day ride along. You're going to average anywhere from 200 to 300 miles a day. And each load, and you're going to pull about 2 to 4 loads a week. Each load has 6 to 8 stops. You're home every single day. You get 2 days off a week. There's opportunity. It is a solo position. Again, you have to live within a 50-mile radius. Now, the pay is cents per mile, and it may even pay stop, but the position out of Blue Ash, Ohio, living within a 50-mile radius, that pays a guaranteed pay of $13.50 a week. So you're guaranteed to make, and I like guaranteed pay because you can write your bills by and pay your bills by guaranteed pay. As long as you show up on time, you don't call in sick, to work, you're guaranteed to get that $13.50 a week. This is a third shift position. So the start time's between 5 and 9 p.m. So you're going to be driving and delivering at stores overnight. You unload. It is driver touch, but you're not touching every piece. You unload using an electric pallet jack, and it operates 7 days a week. So that means that on 4th of July, on Christmas, on, those holidays, on New Year's, you may be working. Okay. So keep that in mind, but it is a guaranteed pay. And right now, guaranteed pay is what we need, what we like to see. I love to be able to share opportunities that are guaranteed. This is not just guaranteed. This is home every day. $13.50 guaranteed, home every day. It is slip seat. So that means you're going to be in a day cab. When you in a day cab, you're not staying nowhere out overnight because you don't have anywhere to sleep. So this, you're going to be home every day. And you're going to sleep in your bed. Mac the Mother Truck says he's got a conference call. He'll catch my next live. All right, Mac. See you later. Thanks so much for sharing your great input. Now, if you're interested in that dedicated, again, it's a dedicated position. If you're interested in it, text grocery to 832-572-5277. And The girls are standing by to help you get started with this position. It's open, which means orientation is on Mondays and Wednesdays. So today is Friday. I probably won't be able to get you in on Monday, but the girls will probably be able to get you in by Wednesday if you completely fill out the application, you sign everything, we get all your documents, everything that's needed. They'll be able to get you processed and approved and set up for orientation to start on Wednesday. This is a good position, so it'll probably fill up fast. So I encourage you, if you're interested in it, make sure you reach out and text the number on the screen. Text grocery. Again, you have to have 3 months of verifiable tractor trailer experience, no failed drug tests or violations in the clearinghouse. You must have a good driving record, good background. If you have 10 jobs in the last year, please don't call, okay? Because you're not serious about life or work. Okay. Now, moving right along to the learning lane. The learning lane is probably my favorite part of the show. And today I'm talking about paying attention to detail. Because right now, paying attention to detail is so critical now more than ever with automation and autonomy and new technology. You have to be precise. You have to be precise. You have to monitor more now than you've ever had to monitor. And so it's critical, but because it ensures accuracy and efficiency and safety in any task, especially in our transportation industry, even when, minor oversights, a minor oversight can lead to a big consequence or a big, domino effect down line. So paying attention to detail is so critical. Paying attention to detail, it helps you prevent errors. It helps to build trust in your customer, and it enhances a professional reputation. I talked earlier about communication and, possibly moving the interviews down in the future for those drivers that aren't accustomed to interviews. Attention to detail and having examples where you paid attention to detail only takes you far. It only sets you apart from those that don't have examples or can't talk about times when they've paid attention to detail. Paying attention to detail is a foundational skill that it supports and it helps the operation run smooth, and it's effective and important for these new technologies and new automations that we're seeing, because it's ultimately going to lead to a better outcome and great and important reliability in our work. And so I talked about it being a domino effect. A small oversight can lead to major consequences. Even if you miss a single checkbox on a maintenance report, or if you overlooked a minor discrepancy on your delivery schedule, like, you thought you were supposed to be there at, it said 1800, or it said 6 o'clock, and you thought it was 6 o'clock p.m., but it was actually 6 o'clock a.m. That entire day, that customer did not have their needed supplies. And so it was a needed equipment or a needed supply that was very crucial and important for the company. And so major issues for you, major issues for your customer. So paying attention to detail is very critical. I want you to drop in the comments and let me know a time where you made a small mistake or you missed a small detail and it led to a big problem down the line. And then I want you to tell me what you learned from that experience, what you learned from that experience. Because in our industry, safety is paramount. And when you got the pre-trip checklist, and you got the post-trip checklist, if you miss one thing, that can be you stuck on side the road in the middle of the night, no help, So that's why it's imperative that you ensure that you check all the small details. Even if you're a flatbed driver and you forget, you got 10 or 15 straps across the load, but it's one or two that you forget to secure properly, or you forget to stop that every 2 hours because you're on the phone talking to grandma and you forget to stop, and the load has shifted. Major things can happen. Life and death type things can happen. So missing a small detail can compromise everybody's safety. So make sure that you are paying attention to all of those small details, because guess what? The computer and the automation and the autonomy, they don't miss a lot of the things. So any error, no matter how small, can lead to a major issue. And I want you to always remember that. Don't take shortcuts. Don't, try to go the easy route, because you can miss something that's major. And so when you consistently pay attention to detail, you build trust with your client. Your customers trust you. Your reputation is set high, because they know they can always depend on that. If this person did it, if this name is signed on the bottom line, I know it's done right. Right? You start building that reputation and demonstrating professionalism, and that people can rely on you because you're doing it right. You're doing the right thing. Hi, DSP. How are you? Thank you so much for the hearts, the heart puffs. And so let's wrap up with talking about developing the skill. Developing the skill for paying attention to detail. It can be developed with practice. You just got to learn and do the same thing over again. Like, I'm a creature of habit. When I was recruiting, my conversation went the same way. It had the same flow. When I was in aviation, even now in aviation, my process is the same. Even at home, my process is the same. And so over the years, for me to be able to hone and get better at paying attention to detail, I do things like create a checklist. I'm the checklist queen. I make it a habit to create a checklist, to mark off things that I need, that I got to get done, to mark off things that I need to check on, things that I need to follow up on. And checklists are good for me. They may not be good for you, but checklists are good for me because it gives me a sense of accomplishment. It gives me a sense of, hey, I got this done. Right. And so that's why it's so important that you create checklists. And then the other thing I do is I make it a habit to check my work. I can't depend on anybody else to check my work, so I have to check my work. I double, I triple, sometimes I quadruple check my work to make sure it's done correctly, it's done right, and I'm not making any mistakes. So that's one thing that I want you to add to your list. Double, triple, quadruple, check that pre-trip checklist so that things are done right. That's paying attention to detail. That's being able to catch things before they can become problems. And then one of the other things that I do is I have to focus on one thing at a time. Like, in my 20s, I might have been able to do like 20 things at a time, multitasking, getting a whole bunch of things done. I was getting it done. But now I have to focus on one thing at a time, and I have to eliminate distractions. I have to, D&D is my friend when I have to get things done. And if you're not in the favorites, I'm just going to miss you, and I'll do my best to get back to you. But you have to focus on one thing at a time and remove the distractions. Remove, any personal issues you got going on at home. Remove all of those things so that you can focus on the task at hand, because it's so easy to overlook something. It's so easy to miss a small detail. And so these are all easy ways that I want you to take from what I'm saying, from the skills, to enhance your skill of paying close attention to detail. That's one skill that will take you so far. And remember, in the transportation industry, our attention to detail can mean the difference between a smooth operation and a major problem. And so as technology and automation and as all these things continue to evolve and change and shift, paying attention to detail is going to become more crucial. It's going to be able to help you enhance your safety. It's going to be able to help you build trust with your customers and enhance efficiency. So from here on out, I want you to commit to paying attention to detail and building that skill and making those checklists and doing all the things so that you don't miss something that's very, very important. All right. So I want to wrap up just by saying thank you. Thank you for being here, whether you are on our YouTube channel, whether you are on our TikTok, whether you're seeing a replay on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications so that you never miss a time when I go live. I'm typically live every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hey, everybody across the TikTok platform, thank you so much for running up those likes and those little hearts and puffs. I love it. But all of my platforms are scrolling right here. Make sure you are connected with me. Make sure you follow me across all of my platforms. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. The show has been great. If you missed it, make sure you put hashtag replay in the comments so that I can know that you watched it. Thanks for being here. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.